Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well, and thank you to whoever liked the stream before it started. I like the enthusiasm you've got. But yeah, so this is I've not really done much work off stream. In fact, technically, I've done no work off stream. Literally, for the last 10 minutes, I've just been duplicating, renaming one of the grooms. Um, but other than that, it's exactly the way we left it. So obviously, like the groom is pretty rough. This is the groom where we left it. Also, some semi-important news, not about me or the channel, more just like if you're a CG artist, which I assume you are. Marvelous Designer, Clo, the guys that make Marvelous Designer, are getting rid of the perpetual licenses. So if you want to get a permanent license of Marvelous Designer, they'll be getting rid of that when they release Marvelous 10, which they haven't said when they release it, but it could be next week, it could be in a month, could be in 3 months, who knows. But if you want to guarantee having a perpetual license of Marvelous, then now's the time to buy it. Annoyingly, a Steam sale ended literally a few days ago, so rather than get it for 240, I ended up getting it for 460, which wasn't ideal. But I didn't know they were gonna remove perpetual. But yeah, so definitely check that out if you want to do Marvelous Designer. I ended up buying it, and so you can assume that all my projects from here on out are going to look like this, just because I'm going to get my money's worth. But yeah, so in terms of what I did editing the scene, I literally just I renamed Fur Hair Loose. So this was called Fur Hair Loose, but now you'll notice there's nothing. It's because I've renamed this groom to Furhead Tied. Just because that makes more sense. The loose hair is more kind of at the back of the hairline and at the sides of the ears, and some stuff at the front. So the name loose didn't make sense for this stuff. It made sense at the time when I did it, because I was thinking hair that's tied into the braids really tightly and hair that isn't, but I realised the error of the naming. So yeah, to do that, literally all I did was go into descriptions and duplicate it, then just relinked all the masks, which in this case was literally just one for density. Renamed it as well so things don't get too confusing, and then I went into Fur Head Loose and just painted the mask out, removed the guides and removed the modifiers. So this isn't a new groom, this is actually just the old groom with everything removed, and technically Fur Hair Tied is a brand new groom, even though really it's the one with all the maps and stuff we did in the previous stream. Obviously we're going to need to start filling in the hair. So I think in terms of the way we're going to progress on this, I will be reworking the braids model at some point, just because these are blocked out. Like it's nothing special. I need to kind of figure out the angle of them, because this looks a bit boring from the side. So maybe I'll have to do a paint over to figure out a nice flow. But I think ponytail position I'm pretty happy with, so I'm going to start filling in this side groom and back groom just to kind of get everything going to that point. I will be doing kind of a wrapped groom, a groom that kind of wraps around this groom that wraps around the ponytail, just to kind of hide the connection of all this stuff. I will be editing the braids as well, so they wrap around it to some extent, so it doesn't look too fake. And then obviously the top is hideous, like it's really bad. That will be improving once we start like getting the braids in their final position. I'm going to leave this mostly alone. I think today I'm going to fill in this back section, because that's something that's quite easy to do, to be honest. And I'm going to start working on the loose hair, because that's like my favourite kind of hair to groom. It's like really loose hair is just so much fun. But yeah, so if anyone has any questions, let me know. If you don't have any questions, then I guess sit there in silence, I don't know. But yeah, so I guess it's time to start. So let's go into Fur Hair Tied. And all I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to paint my mask. And so I need to give the braid a little bit of room to pull hair in. So I'm going to just paint a white mask. Where is my Wacom pen? There it is. Also, let me know if there's anything wrong with the audio levels or anything like that. I know I say this at the start of every stream, but my my audio interface doesn't have any notches to say how much gain I've got the microphone on, and because there's no off switch on the interface, I turn the gain to 0 every time I finish streaming, just because I'm paranoid, I guess. So I don't always know if I've set the gain the exact same way every time. So do let me know if there's any issues with the audio levels, and I'll fix it. It's literally just one little dial, but it's an unmarked dial, which is kind of annoying. Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to another channel. So with having bought Marvelous Designer yesterday, I kind of went on a binge and started finding all the resources I could, and obviously anyone who's used Marvelous Designer has probably heard of like Laurie Griffiths and those sorts of people. I used to watch her videos years ago when I first started learning Marvelous Designer. It's just now I've finally bought it. So she's great, but there's another YouTube channel which I'm amazed by, like how good his stuff is. His channel is literally called Daniel. So let me just I'll put it in the chat. But his stuff is genuinely like amazing. It's quite advanced. Like he uses Clo 3D, but it's fundamentally identical to Marvelous Designer, except from like some mesh export options and like one or two cloth features. But with kind of a discussion today being Marvelous Designer, check out this guy's stuff. He's incredible. I don't know him. I've never spoke to him or anything, but yeah, his channel it seems really good. So it's worth keeping an eye on. But yeah, so in terms of this mask, I'm not too worried about it being overly neat right now. I will be working on the edges of it, because currently it's just a hard line. You never want that, really. Although I will be doing a density map. I'm going to do the density and mask workflow rather than just one map. But we can cover that in a bit more detail at a different point. Oh, shit. What was that set to? Set to like 75 or something? Didn't mean to slide that. Let's just set you to update from time to time. Right, okay, so save our textures, save our PTEX. That will generate a ton of hair when I update it. Yep, and obviously we're going to need a ton of guides as well. Something I'm going to do while I do this is go into the noise of my clumps and just make sure they're set to 0, so I can always add them back in later. It's not really difficult, but I just need to make sure that these don't have any noises. Right, cool. So what I'm going to do is just copy. I think I'll work symmetrically for a while, just because it makes life way easier. And I can always just fix the guides that aren't doing what I want. Yeah, so this stuff back here will be covered in like a kind of a donut of hair, really, a torus. So don't worry about kind of how this connection is happening. Granted, I will clean this connection up, but that's a while away yet. So let's copy this guide and add a guide, let's say here. Paste guide shape. And then all I'm going to do is just pull that in. I guess we can wrap it around. Why not? Strictly speaking, it would be easier just to end this like at a point, like just make the hairs that are closer shorter, but I really don't want to do that. Kind of one of the ideas of this project is just to push myself as far as I can, and I feel like this is a really masochistic way of pushing myself, so why not? It'll be fun. Although this is very masochistic, I would not do this in production unless we had some like really fancy shot that needed a needed the hair to unfurl or something. Cool. Yes, that immediately cleans this area up quite a lot. I will be removing. Well, I'll be changing the clump density quite a lot, I think, as well. So let's just copy this guide over. Copy selected guide. Oh no, I want to mirror that guide, not copy it. And then here's something that I find really helps. If you go into your, I think it's preview and output, yeah, you got guide color here. I heavily recommend adding some stuff to this. So let's just call this guide base col. going to do is create a random. So rand value equals, and then let's just call it rand 0.5 to 1. And then all I'm going to do is just do guide base call multiplied by rand value. Apply that, accept. And now is a color variation between all the guides. Or well, a value variation, I guess. Let's just go 0 to 1. And that just makes it easier to see what guide's doing what. Like, you can trace it through a lot easier now. You can also plug like a random into the color if you want completely random colors. And you can also plug that into a map as well if you want to paint maps for your guide colors. Maybe that's helpful to someone. I don't know why you'd want to do it. Maybe on partings. In fact, actually for the braids, that'd be really helpful. But yeah, you get the point though. It's not something that you'd find overly helpful all the time. Got something stuck in my throat today. It's really not nice. So how's everyone's day going? Is everyone doing okay? Let's have that go over this other guide. That means that would need to be flattened quite a lot. I need to rebuild these. Cool. And then let's do more of the same. So let's copy, let's say, this guide. And then paste. Let's go with there. Why not? Paste it. The reason I'm pasting it is so that the length stays consistent. I need to rebuild these. Let's rebuild every guide to... kind of want to go heavy. I'm going to rebuild them to like 12. Just because I am wrapping them at the end and that's going to cause havoc for low CV counts. So let's just get that wrapped up in there. Cool. Yeah, we're going to need to do some considerable cleanup on this. So let's... that one doesn't really tie in, so that one would be held in by the hairs around it, or the hair's too short, which is it's more than likely the hair being too short rather than anything that's actually logical. So we're starting to get that a bit cleaner now. And then I guess let's copy this guide across, and then just do this. So it's on the inside, so we need to kind of make sure it stays on the inner edge, just so that layering is maintained. So that's accidental, but I kind of like it. So let's get some more guides in there to fix all this. We're gonna need, I think we need to give this some more volume. And we'll get a guide in there, somewhere around there will do. We're gonna need more guides over there as well. And let's just copy this guide to get a nice length. And we need to make sure that layers, so let's keep it under. Not that much though. And then we need to make sure it goes under the hair and wraps around. But yeah, just to reiterate though, this is not necessarily how you do it in industry. This is a very heavy method and the results won't be really any better. I'm just doing this because I want to I want to test myself really. I want to see not what I can do, because this doesn't prove to someone that you're good at anything. This just proves that you're masochistic, but I kind of just want to, I don't know, just really push, like, you know, how physically accurate can I go in this? But if I was going true physical accuracy, I'd need to do hairs that are this length at the base, so these are actually wrong anyway. So it's kind of pointless exercise. So we need a guide there, or around there. I guess we can copy that one that we just made. So mirror you over. It'd be nice if there was like guide physics with the like not physics, like clipping or collision. That's the word I was looking for. Then we're going to need a guide like there probably. And let's paste that guide shape again. This is where it starts to get really fun. Now that the hairs are kind of wrapping around completely. It's also where lock length becomes really fucking annoying. So this stuff will be coming from the hairs that like right at the bun. They're going to be kind of painful to do, to be honest. But let's give it a go. So let's put a guide right there. Then paste. Actually no, our guide shouldn't go there. Partially because the mask won't be there. Yeah. But also because that hair would just go directly in. Well, I guess strictly speaking I should think a guide should go there, really. Let's delete you, grab you. Starting the painful process of wrapping this one around. Technically it would be easier for me to do this with a helix, because I could literally make a helix model, the primitive, and convert one of the edges into a curve and convert that to a guide, and then I'd get this spiral anyway, just like as part of the process. So let's turn off log length for a bit. So I'm going to need to normalize this one a lot, which is that button right there. Normalize. So this one would have lost a ton of length, but this is in the area that is least accurate anyway, so. Maybe it's actually easier to do this by hand. Let's hide the peach fuzz. That's just distracting. So grab you. Oh, we are in. There we go, I'm getting a bit more accurate now. So now, what we need to do is mirror this guy again. And then I guess we need to scale him to -1 in this axis, which is about there, and then rotate him into place. Cool. And then let's check our guides. What are they doing? I guess the next place for a guide to go would be like there. Although this should be pulled down, I think. So let's just quickly do a little bit of work on the clump map. In fact, actually, let's not do that yet. Let's do a super fast preview render. Let me just limit Maya before I do that so it doesn't kill the stream for me. Cool. Then let's save. Gonna not move my camera in the slightest because that crashes the viewport render every time. Let me just swap out the film light for a different one. It's kind of interesting. Obviously the clumps are way off, but what about Urban Street? Yeah, so we need to get a bit more flow variation in there. Also, people will notice this gap, so I need to make sure that the hair is actually reaching here and that we fix the intersections. So let's just kill that and replace you with my bathroom. So where's that? There it is. XGen. Yeah, so this is where I need to add a guide. Paste guide shape. Let me try changing the guide color. Let's replace this with... What happens if I just put rand value? Oh, that's just black and white. How is it you do random colors then? I can try this. Rand color. And let's just put rand value in each of these. Rand value, comma. Oh, let's just type it. Rand value, comma. Rand value. I have no idea if this will work, so if it's not going to work, I apologize, I guess. And then let's just call rand color. These would have to have different seeds, wouldn't they? This is messy, I know, I'm just curious. Rand value 2. Rand value 3. There we go. Let's call it A, B, and C. If anyone knows expressions, tell me if there's a way to use that. As in, like, is there a way to create random values on each one, or do you have to genuinely create a different variable for each time? Thanks that you're showing your workflow. For me, it's a great chance to learn something new. Yeah, I'm glad you're finding it helpful. So I guess a guide should go there now, right? They're getting more accurate, which is good. Just to Iho. I hope that I've pronounced your name right. Is it Iho or Iho? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm really bad with names as there's, let alone ones from a different culture that I don't really know. But yeah, it's what was I gonna say? This isn't a standard workflow, so please don't learn from this specific example. This is bad workflow. I'm just doing it kind of as a test, for no real gain either. I'm not doing it as like some way of really developing skills. It's more just a test of patience, really. I like to sometimes just push kind of what I can do in terms of like, you know, how long I can spend on something and how quote unquote accurate I can make something. I really do enjoy that sometimes. It's just pushing further than I have to. Lock length really doesn't work the way you want it to sometimes. I got a message from someone. Turn my microphone down. Oh my. There we go. So let's go into the modifiers for a second. Turn off the second layer of clumping and experiment with this density. It's possible that I'll need 3 layers of clumping for this one. So let's try 2 density, generate, and save. Oh, I'm going to set this to update preview automatically. That looks a lot better to me. No, I need to fix the intersections going on here. I need some more guides in that area too. I guess before we do that, let's just update the clump map for this guy, because he won't be accurate anymore. Generate, save. Talking to someone at the moment about the jewellery on her face, like the crosses, because I've actually had a lot of questions about what they are, and honestly guys, I have no fucking clue. Maybe if FKA Twigs ever sees this, I could ask her, but I doubt that's going to happen, to be honest. But I do get a lot of questions like, what the fuck are those? Right, so I guess we need to reach these over. So let's turn off lock length and just pull this. I can re-normalize it, I'm not too worried about just pulling it in. Stuff like that will do. Do the same with this guy. Do the same with, I guess, that guy and that guy. Normalize that. And then This one's going to be tricky because he's really far off. Otherwise, I just feel like these random colours are actually harder to use because the one you've got selected doesn't stand out as much. This guy needs to be pulled in a little bit, it seems a bit high for me. Feels a bit better. So, let me try into modifiers. I'm going to add the noise back in that we had here. So this was rand 0 to 0.75. I remember that for some reason. And I guess we would need a noise on this as well. No noise at the tip, actually, that would be a bad idea. Set that to smooth. Set this to 1 just as a test. Frequency to 2. Frequency is too high. 1. No. 0.5. Let's set this to 3. So 0.5 is still too high frequency for my taste. 2.5. That's a bit nicer. Let's just add a little bit more at the roots. And obviously massively reduce it. I'm going to set this to linear. No. So let's set this rand, and let's go 0 to 3. So that will visibly half the value. And then we're going to need a percentage of hairs that aren't affected. So let's go into load an expression, load other, to load one of the ones I've already made. Why is clumping not being affected? Let's generate that again. So that wasn't tight enough. Set to 0 again. I still don't know what clump volumize does. So let's just set this to be a little bit tighter. Cool. Let's add that noise back in. So rand 0 to 0.75. Then we can add the bass back in and set that to have at least some effect. Why does that feel way tighter now? I'm going to regenerate this top level of grooming. So let's go into add a new clumping modifier. Set up maps. That was set to 6. Generate. Save. that's working the way we expect now. So that's working now. That's so weird. So let's get that noise back in there. 0 to 0.75. How many times do I want to type that today? This is set to like 3. I don't think it was set to 3 actually. 2. No. 1. Cool, and let's add the noises back in. So there we go. So there's a glitch here going on. We need something there as well. Probably coming from here, the issue. So let's add a guide right there and check. Yep. So let's just copy this guide shape and paste it to U. And I guess we just need to do something like that, I guess. Right, so something I want to quickly do is I'm going to go back into that guide color thing. So when you select something it goes green. So how about green is that one? So how about I just set this to like 0.2 and that will reduce the amount of green in the random, which means when I select a guide, yeah, there we go, that's much better. So now it's still random colors, so it's easier to trace, but when I select one it's obvious which one was selected. So really need a guide in here. Let's go with there. And these ones are going to start to be accurate enough for me to leave alone with the lock length or the copier. Hello. Doing some funky color coordination of my guides.
Oh, that's cool.
And other than that, just grooming.
Just grooming.
I found an easier way to rename a groom.
That's good.
Literally just duplicate the groom, and when you duplicate it, it allows you to rename it. And then all you have to do is just go to the original groom that you duplicated and delete everything out of it. And functionally, all you've done then is rename the groom.
Okay.
Even though it creates extra files, the moment you've deleted everything and save a new scene, they're gone. They're not being kept anymore. Yeah, filled in the back of the skull as well, so he's actually got hair coverage at the back.
Nice. Good luck with that.
What?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, the guide works pretty horrible. Look at that.
I'm just trying to get it like looped.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it around. I'm gonna add a guide right there.
God, this smells like good. I'm gonna download it.
Huh?
The file you sent me,
Uh huh.
because I want to make sure that the shots are okay.
Uh huh. Well, as in, like, they can render on their side.
Huh?
As in, like, so they can render on their side.
Yeah, I'm gonna give. I just realised the shot that we're rendering now.
Uh huh.
I can actually open another file because it's like but the way the light changes as soon as it hits the eye.
Uh huh.
So I can actually stop that and render the last maybe 50 frames in the other lighting setup.
Uh huh.
I realised that I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, whenever it comes into the eye, it changes to the like intense lighting.
Uh huh.
So there's two shots put together. So I can actually, whenever you're done, I'll pop on shot shot 3.
Uh huh.
So yeah, I'll do that.
Let's go into guide point.
But I'm gonna get Andrew to render one of the like later shots, if that makes sense, just so because I know that they're okay to go. So I'm gonna open it now and make sure the seconds and all are set, and then just zip it again and send it to him. I'll probably delete out. I think the substance files are in this, so I'll probably delete them out as well.
Zippity doo zippity.
Might spend a bit later tonight.
Go for it. Yeah, it's Sunday tomorrow.
Yay.
Do we have any idea when we're meeting Jesus yet?
I can assume it. You know, is that?
No, I'll message him later. Be like, yo, when we're saying bye and shit.
Is that?
Because I don't like what this guide is doing. So let's just get that, edge it out. So what is the rotation of my light at the moment? Render cam. Not render cam. That's actually so it's 137. Let me just save my scene. I'll set that to 0, I guess. No, I'll set that to 90. No. I'll set it to minus 90. Skip that quick preview render. I'm going to go get a drink. In fact, I'm not going to get a drink while it's doing preview render because it has a tendency of crashing if you leave it going. Which is a lovely little feature from the XGen team. It's got a coverage at least. I need to do quite a lot of feathering with the density map, I think. I do an actual preview render. Let's do a real one, not just a viewport. I just need to remember the number 137. So let's kick off a preview. And just leave that going for a bit. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. Just gonna get a drink. You want a drink, Barry?
No.
Yep. It's relatively promising. Grim. It needs a lot more crossover. It's currently really, really boring flow-wise. Like, there's nothing going on.
I get you. It'd be nice to do some flyaways at the back as well, because I feel like the front of the hair has like that. It's not really stick to the scalp. You know what I mean? So
Oh well, I plan on doing. I've got a separate groom that I want to do that kind of
has like that.
does
you know,
this.
you
Also,
you
shout
can
out
look
to
at
the
my hair,
normals of this mesh.
Like, you can look at my if I put my hair into something, you can use that.
Yeah, I know.
It's like flyaway kind of
Yeah, I know how to do that sort of. It's like my favourite sort of groom to do.
Yeah.
So, although I don't know how to do it for black hair, so I don't know. Like, it doesn't move the same way. It's normally a little bit like scragglier.
Check the AI and see if I can get.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll be able to find reference. It's just a case of looking for ponytails on African women, or like Caribbean or whoever.
There might be.
Because the hair tends to be a bit noisier normally, like a high frequency like frazzle type
There might
thing.
be a. It's really weird. There's a Mupang person that I enjoy. You know the it's Tay and Lou, the two that you hated the intro for.
Who?
It's Tay and Lou.
Oh,
What's up,
yeah.
hate 'em.
The intro of their thing gets on my nerves so much.
But the girl with the longer hair, I think it's Tay. Tay wears a lot of pots and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
1 second left. It's actually downloaded a lot easier than whenever it was uploaded.
Yeah, I need to break up this flow. I need to make this ponytail more interesting as well. I think overall it's interesting. Like once I got the hair here,
Yeah.
although I do need to do some texture variation on the back of the head. Come on, unlock so I can set the light back, please. So I'm debating kind of working on the loose groom before I spend too much time on the other stuff. There we go, 137. That's 157, 137. Cool, so we got that. Yeah, there's some funky stuff going on now. That's because of you. No, that's hit G to save rather than sculptor. What did G just do? Oh, G is rendering. No. Now I need to let it do its thing. For fuck's sake. I know stuff don't hit G after rendering. To be honest, I didn't even really realise that G counts as that rendering counts as a tool. So go back into U. Oh, that's interesting. This is also your fault. Right, so I guess we should start on the loose hair. So let me see if I can find a nice reference in my folder. In fact, actually, let's not look in my folder. Let's look on the PureRef. Load recent. Where's this cough come from? Right, so this one doesn't really tell us anything. This tells us just as simply some loose hair in front of the ear, but not much. So hair curls up a bit. Do we have any reference from the back? We have one image, right? Her hair goes surprisingly slick. Maybe I'm overdoing how frazzly it is then. Yeah, her hair is a lot like... This is what I had in my head, as to like how her hair is. But I guess actually most of the time it's a lot slicker. Yeah, look at that. Alright. So I need to turn down my noises a bit. This is interesting. The drag this onto the screen. There we go. Right, so I need to remove those noises a little bit. So let's just step that way down. Let's go to like 2.5, so it'd be very subtle. Still there though. And then let's go to this guy and set you to do the same thing. So this is going to go rand 0 to 1.5. And I guess the strays need to be a bit more pronounced. So let's just try setting this to like 6. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. So let's go into this. I'll turn up the correlation a little bit. Let's go with 50. Yeah, so at some point we'll need to go in and fix all this stuff, but for now I'm relatively happy with it. Because the rest of the groom is a lot further behind than this one, it's not worth spending too much time just on this. I'll need to create a density map that's actually got variation in it. I'll need to create a secondary groom. I also need to create a width map just to thin out some hairs just towards the hairline. Because there is a tendency of hair being very, very slightly thinner at the hairline. What's that sound?
Oh, it's the plan. I'm boiling water.
Oh, okay. Alright, let's see if we can find any images of twigs. Okay, twigs. Ponytail, I guess? I want to see what her baby hair looks like. But not when she's styled it like this. Like this is something that I don't want to do. That is definitely a wig. Please, for the love of God, tell me that's a wig. Are there any images of her
Her
with...
Instagram would be a better shot.
Yeah, true.
Or red carpet, because you would actually see the non.
I really love this hair. Part of me, like when I was starting this project, really wanted to do this instead, because I think that, like, I think I said it on the stream a few times. It's like it's just Esmeralda, like the Disney character. Is Esmeralda counted as a Disney princess, even though she's not a princess?
I think so.
Does she count? Why does she always style the baby hairs and loose hairs? That's a really cool image right there. I think I'll check her Instagram. Might
I
be better.
forgot she dated Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. That's a really cool image. So let's go into all. Some of the images on her Instagram are not safe for YouTube. Just like scroll past them as soon as I notice them.
I love the pirate one.
Yeah, the pirate ones are cool. That one might be helpful. It's not high res enough though. Can't take the image. That's annoying. think what I might have to do is just look for similar hair. Bring that back over here. In fact, no, I don't need to drag that back over there. Let's just search braid ponytail. Images. Would it be better to search braided ponytail? That's better. I'm gonna search back. I seem to find a good image of like the loose hair that's like hanging down. This sort of stuff is cool. See, what I'm wondering is, should I loosen out the ponytail? Because the thing is, the way she does hers is quite tight, so there's not really much to hang. But I kind of like it when hair like hangs freely for a little bit.
See, this is the thing, and I think it's very interesting with that kind of hair type.
Uh-huh.
When they do their when kind of like African Caribbean do their hair, they don't do it for just a day.
Yeah.
Their hair will remain like that because they don't wash it as often.
Yeah.
Because one, they know how to treat hair, right? That's like literally. So the way that that's tight, that is because that is obviously a newly done style for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
So it's either you kind of stick to what it would look like. You know, if you look up, she's probably a good one. It's Diana Ross's daughter. Hang on. Type of Diana Ross daughter in.
Sure.
She actually has a hair care line, but she does a lot of like shoots for her hair. Can't remember her name. Is it Rainbow Ross or no? She.
Why would I search new movie? Why Google?
It's see the girl with the like the one on the CD of her name. But if you type her name in hair, you'll probably get some. She has her own hair care line. Yeah. If you type hair after her name, you might get some.
No,
Instagram,
nothing.
or Instagram as well has a lot of like shoots in the back of her.
I don't want to go searching that much for a specific person. So what I want to find is an image of this sort of stuff right here. But
You probably not get something like that because the hair would be style like at the back and stuff. I thought it was.
But some hair would hang loose, surely.
It just depends. Like, if you ever watch, and I've watched, because I've now become addicted to watching like hairstyling.
Wouldn't this be painful in any way to have your hair this tight?
It really is. But they use so much, like whenever they put the hair up like that, right?
Uh-huh.
There's so much oil because it gets so dry. You know, like, that's what they do. Put like layers of like coconut oil, like raw coconut oil.
Yeah, I was watching a hairstyle video the other day to kind of learn about
you
those.
You realize how like not greasy, but you know what I mean. That's how nourished.
Yeah,
it
is extra oil.
And that's why there's very little flyaways. Like even all those photos you can see, like barely any gets.
Yeah, if it does fly away, it flies away in clumps.
Yeah.
That's a loose hairstyle, so that doesn't really work. Although, so I'm wondering, do I just take some liberty with it and just do what I want to add, or do I find like a super faithful ref? This stream might end up as mostly Googling for a while. That's interesting. It's like short, wispy, clumpy hair, like this. Let's open that image in a new tab and find more similar to that one, I guess. Obviously it's not the same hairstyle, but at least gives me kind of a general idea as to what the hair might do. Because I just straight up don't understand how this sort of hair works, really. I don't think I've ever groomed hair like this, actually.
I love this kind of style.
Ooh, there we go.
I think there's such a beautiful difference in it.
Personally, I'm not too fond of hairstyles where you see a lot of skin. To me, they just look like they'd be so uncomfortable to have. Like,
I get what you mean.
yeah. Like, if a hairstyle looks painful, it's not really something I like too much. Although, I really appreciate how much work goes into this. Like, this would be really fucking hard to do. Did I what? Oh, there we go. Perfect. I think that's as good as an image I'm going to get.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So, I'll open link in new tab. Let's open image in new tab, and then I'll find one more image just so I got a bit of variety. Although it'd be nice if the hair was a little bit longer. But I guess the baby hair down here doesn't tend to be that long, so. She's got really nice features. And cheekbone. Alright, I might just stick with those two images. So we've got this image, which gives me an idea for interesting flows. And we got this image, which is a little bit better for kind of how the clumps work. Obviously this isn't the same hairstyle, but it gives me an idea at least. Also helps me fix the hairline, because the hairline of mine is way off at the back. So let's drag these over to here. Oh, that's nice. You can literally drag it straight into you can literally drag a an image from Google directly into PureRef.
Really?
Yep. That's really cool. So let's put these next to each other. How do I resize this image? Image selection. I guess I can't. Alright, cool. So let's use this one primarily. And we got the actual ref of FKA twigs for how the side works. Which I'll start with the side. So let's go in to for head loose. And let's create our first guide. So I'm going to go right in front of the ear, right there. I'm going to scale it up a little bit, and then let's go in with lock length enabled. So it needs to be a lot longer. And I'm also going to need to, loose hairs, one of the most important aspects of them is how kind of flowy they can be. So I need to make sure I capture that. So let's rebuild this to 8 CVs, which you can argue is overkill. In fact, you can very confidently say is overkill. But it gives me the ability to make it very nice and flowy. like that. Although maybe it should be even longer still, so let's make it longer. And what I want to do is get this first hair working nicely, and then just duplicate it around. I'll use pretty much the same length hair everywhere. Not because that's the accurate way of doing it, but just because that's the quickest way of blocking something out. At least for this sort of groom, where it's not overly dense, you don't need to worry about layering as much, really. So fur loose hair will be kind of used everywhere, to be honest. Like this groom will find its way into basically every aspect of the scene. As in, like, you know, it'll be at the hairline at the front, it'll be at the ears, it'll be at the back. So we got that one guide done. So let's copy that guide shape. And I'm going to put a guide, let's go there. And I'm going to paste that guide shape. And it's going to go in with lock length. And let's just make something that flows nicely with it. I'm obsessed with flow. That's one thing you'll learn from me is it's not necessarily the correct way of working. I mean, I try to always add that caveat just because, like, obviously I know what I'm talking about to some extent. I did groom professionally for a few years, but at the same time, my methods aren't necessarily foolproof. Like, I may be doing things the worst possible way in some instances. So, you know, take everything I say with a pinch of salt. Like, even though I've got experience, and I may know more than, you know, if you're new to this stuff, I probably know more than what you do. But at the same time, like, learn from as many resources as you can, because I'm not going to be right in everything. There's absolutely no way that would be the case. As I say, anytime I work on eyebrows, I'm always like, please, for the love of God, use someone else's method, because my method is not friendly for a beginner especially. It's just not good. It's great for me, it gets results, but it's not good for most other people, including other professionals. Like, they don't like working the way that I like to work. So, but like with this stuff right now, this isn't technically the best way of doing it, but it's the way that I want to do it, so it's the way I'm gonna do it. Let's add a guide there. I'm gonna paste it again. Cool. So what I'm going to do is, I guess one nice thing is, because I duplicated this from the other groom, is it still has all the same density settings, all the same CV counts, although we can massively lower that CV count down to, like, in fact, technically we shouldn't, but in fact no, we definitely should. So then we can just paint a mask, and I'm going to paint solid white in between these guides. Save that texture. Then I'm going to save this as well. And then I'm just going to drag this down a little bit more. Drag that bit up a little bit more. So we're going to want to extend this mask a little bit, just to make sure the two grooms are meeting. So let's do that. We will need another guide at the top because of that, but we can worry about that in a second. There we go. So now I'm just going to get a guide, place it at the top there. I think Oscar, you may be really far behind in the stream. I'm gonna message that to you as well. Hi, Oscar, you may be really far back on the stream. I hope he sees that. I don't know if mine go out live, like down to the video time. But he's replying to stuff I was saying like literally half an hour ago, if not an hour ago. And I know my streams often have a delay, but I don't think the delay is normally. Oh, right, okay, just check the first minute. Fair enough, man. How are you doing, Oscar? It's been a while since we got to chat.
Do you want this on?
Well, what? I don't mind. I guess you don't.
No, you don't have to know it interferes with your phone or your mic.
No, as long as it's aimed away, it doesn't affect it. So I'm just going to mirror these over to the other side. And I think on one of the sides I'm going to have hair fall in front of the ear, just because it looks more interesting to me. And then I guess I need to paint the mask on both sides. So let's just draw a straight line from you to you, to you to you. There we go. Save textures. Save texture. There we go. So we got the hair in front of the ears now, to some extent anyway. We need to get some clumps in there. So let's go into modifiers. Let's go into clumping. Set up maps. Let's just test that, see if it works. It's going to look horrible probably. So apparently not. Apparently it works alright. That's cool. And then we need some sub clumping in there. So clumping. And this one will go, I don't know why it's changing whenever I generate a new map. And this one will go to 6 to be the same as the level above it. And then let's just make that super tight. There we go. It's a bit more interesting. And as always, we're going to need a cut. And multiply this by $C length. I don't know why that's not a checkbox, to be honest. And we're going to go more aggressive on this cut. There we go. How much was Marvelous Designer during the sale? It was on Steam. It was down to £240. And then the day after the sale ended, it went back up to full price. And that's when I found out that Marvelous Designer Perpetual is being killed. Where did I pick up? It's on their website, but it's hidden away on their website. It's kind of sneaky. I'm going to go into my Facebook and I'm going to get the link so you can read through it. This is the post. But yeah, like it's kind of hidden away slightly. But that's the post that explains what's happening. Right, so let's get some more guides in there. I need to check my other reference now. I think flow-wise, I'm going to go for what this one's doing. So this is the ref I'm going to be looking at for flows. It's a 2-part image. Although the hairstyle is slightly different, I'm pretty sure it's the same girl. Skin tone is almost an identical match, and it would make sense for the same photo to be two of the same person, so it's just a slightly different hairstyle, but it's a good guide for like, oh, the hair flows up and there's all this stuff, and the hair line in general is a lot lower than what I've got. It needs to go to like down to like here or somewhere. Let's get some guides in there. I'm just going to go one guide at a time, basically. So let's go with a guide right. I guess we have to walk along, don't we? So let's just paste that. And I'm going to keep the length pretty much the same as what I've currently got. Paste. Paste. And paste. And then let's just go through one guide at a time and kind of make an interesting flow out of them. I guess technically the best way to do that would be to have it flow in originally and then fall out. Like that. That doesn't look good at all though. Yeah, so you can upgrade your perpetual license up until version 12. It's at a reduced cost. It's not free to upgrade. It's 75% off, so I think that works out as £60 per upgrade per major version. I think you get upgrades within each version for free. So like, you know, we're on 9.5. If it went to 9.6, which I don't think it does, I think it goes straight to 10. But if it went to 9.6, I think you get that for free. And then when it goes to 10, you have to pay. If you want the upgrade, you have to pay. So unless they add some like, you know, really nice auto retopology feature, I'm not going to bother with that. But you know, maybe version 12 is when I'll pick it up again, because by then there should be a lot of nice features. I need to figure out an interesting flow, because this isn't going to work. Also, you need to be changed. I guess you need to do... I'm struggling to figure out the one behind the ear, so I'll leave that for a second. Something like that could be interesting. So I guess it just makes sense for me to let them fall. Like that looks more accurate than the kind of half-assed thing I'm trying to do at the moment. Let's have that curl the opposite way. And let's do that as well. I try to build S-curves into like every angle that I can. Although I can't build an S-curve into that angle, I think. So let's just go with a C on that. But like for this angle, for example, I'm trying to get like a nice S. And I guess this one is just going to have to do something different. Need to make sure it's not visible from the front. And I guess let's just go in to the paintable map, paint white, and let's just go. We should really continue it through. And you want to make sure it crosses the other hairline just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, but it should cross over a bit. And then we're going to need that. I guess it's actually going a lot lower in general, so let's do that instead. We'll worry about mirroring it later. Cool. So let's save that texture. And we're going to obviously play about with density as well, but the thing is, see how much of a difference just having loose hair makes? Like obviously this looks awful, but just having loose hair makes such a large difference. So I guess what we can start to do now is add a guide there, paste guide shape, and let's scale it like that much. And let's pull it up towards, so it can be like a fallen clump. Something like that. Maybe the length is still too much. Maybe that shape would be better here. Let's just paste that guide shape. So right now I'm not really matching anything specifically, I'm just taking inspirations from different places. that could be interesting. Then let's loosen it out from this angle. Because it is a loose hair after all, like, it doesn't have to be snapped into the rest. And then let's add a guide there. And then let's put you there. Let's see how bad this looks. Beautifully bad. And a guide there. Flatten it to the skin. The length might not work. We may have to do something with that. So this one doesn't make any sense anymore. So let's do something like that. This is too long. Let's shorten that guy. And I guess let's do that. So I think what we're going to need to do here is copy this guide, place it there, and to make it feel like it's falling, paste that guide. Let's actually scale that in quite a bit. To make it feel like it's actually falling, we're going to need this top guide. Where did you go? Okay. Save my scene, because that's going to die. So let's place a guide right there. And I'm going to have it fall. So do something like that. And immediately below that, have another guide that goes the other way. I guess this one, I'm going to do something pretty crazy here. Perpetual license on their website more expensive compared to Steam. I think it's because the perpetual license on their website can be upgraded, whereas perpetual license on Steam, I don't think it can. I think the licensing system is different. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but I think that's the reason. I need some more stuff going on up here. Let's add a guide right there. Let's have you go up. This is my favorite kind of grooming though. Loose hairs like this. It's so fun. Let's add another guide right there. And then I'm going to pull him up as well. Because you can do like quite chaotic guides. As long as they're flowy, it will look cool. I need to fix that clump though. That's horrible. I guess putting a guide there. Put one there too. Let's just do something nice and flowy. There we go. So this guide isn't working compared to the rest. I think we need to do something like that. And then we're gonna need some guides in here to really help enforce that. Why are you not? Can you listen? There we go. Hey Becca. I love grooming this sort of hair. Look. You can do so much flowy stuff.
That's kinda cool.
You just get to have fun with it. I need to fix this stuff. Let's fix it by putting a guide there and forcing this shape. Then I need to create a parting there, I think, for this to work. Is this going to work, or is that too late? Maybe let's cut it out. Put a guide in between those two, and this one can be longer and follow both of those curves. Like that. So those shapes blend into each other. I also want to just put guide clumping on and see what happens. Turn off clump layer 2, go into clump layer 1, guide, and then let's add clump layer 2 again. Maybe guide clumping is the way to go for the back. So that can give me much nicer shapes. For much less work as well. I think I'm going to go with guide clumping. Quick question, when you start a model in human eyes, do you invert the normals for the cornea and iris? I'm not sure why you would want to invert the normals, to be honest. Do you mean to get kind of the... let me get an old render up. Do you mean to get how see-through this is? So that you can see through the cornea to the iris? If so, that's not how you want to do it. You should never invert normals just to see through something. In reality, normals aren't really a thing. It's just kind of, you know, whatever angle light would bounce off a surface is what the normals are, really. Well, whatever the tangent to that surface is. So you don't want to be inverting normals. In this case, it's called refraction. So you want to make sure that you have a map that turns on refraction where the iris is. I did stream the creation of the eyes. It's probably back in like stream 7, stream 8, something like that. In fact, let me check, because I'll have my progression images. Images, progression images. So yeah, so that's where I do it. So stream 13 will be the one that has the eyes in there, and then I guess the one where I actually texture it is stream 14. That's where I've blocked out the eyes. I may have done it off stream, but I'll explain what I'd be explaining what it does in stream 13, because that's when I did it, like the original block out, and then this is just adding textures. And then yeah, I don't actually paint proper eye textures until which stream is that? Stream 15 is when I start painting textures for everything. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be inverting normals. That's not really how shading works. Right, so because I'm lazy.
But what if I did invert?
What if what?
I did invert.
What if do invert? I'm going to not delete. I'm going to delete this side. I'm going to mirror all of these guys except the middle ones. So let's mirror those over, and then I'm gonna redo the flow for a lot of it. But for now, let's get the mask in there. But yeah, there's a lot of tutorials on how to make eyes though. The one that I learned from was made by a guy called Xeno Pilgrims, although I don't think his tutorial is available online anymore. But if you just search eye rendering tutorial, just make sure that you look at the renders first, because there's a lot of really bad eye tutorials out there, like genuinely awful tutorials. So be careful what exactly you watch, but it should be fine. Oh, there we go. There's a lot of information out there, that's for sure. CG Society has a lot of old forum threads about eye rendering as well. That they're really great. There's one forum that's kind of legendary called Crossing the Uncanny Valley, and it's literally one dude's personal project where he went like absolutely ape, and really did tons and tons of work on a look dev project of himself. Like he made a self-portrait, and he did incredible amounts of work to get everything to look realistic, and he documented the whole process. Well, he didn't document the whole process, he documented the important stuff, i.e. like the high level rendering. So let's update. So let's generate on guides, save, and then resave you so that it follows the guide clumping. And then I just need to break up the symmetry because it's too perfect. I also need to add noises. Let's add some noises first. is horrible. Magnitude, rand. In fact, I'm going to use my expression. Whatever noise magnitude. Turn off stray. Oh, stray is turned off. Cool. Set this to 0 just so it's visually set. Could you point us to that tutorial? Ooh, let me see if I can find it. So, I think it's on CG Society. Crossing the Uncanny Valley. Is that the one? I think this is the one. Yep, this is the one. It's incredible. Like, his breakdowns of everything are just so nice. Like, his ear topology as well is really nice. But like, he doesn't tell you how to do everything, but you can see how he works. You can see how things kind of in a way should look, because his final result is incredible. And I'm not too fond of the UVs personally, but I really don't like the UVs actually. But yeah, he goes through everything, so getting displacement, how he renders everything using the scan, some eyeballs, which are kind of nice. So I guess he doesn't tell you how to do them, but yeah, he's got some really good stuff. And then the final result is just ridiculous. Let me see if I can search it on Google Images. Yeah, so is that the final one? I don't think that's the final one, but yeah, this is like, it's quite an old post. But it's the fact you can kind of see it, like how long it took him. It's very nice. Although the fact he modelled the teeth as like one object, so not just with the gums, but like some of the teeth are actually merged. I'm not too keen on that, but I guess it makes sense. But like his eye topology, for example, is quite nice. Like he loops them, like he doesn't feel forced to loop the rim of each eyelid to the other, which is good. It's very nice. So definitely check out his stuff. I don't actually know who the artist is. Even his grooming is quite nice. He's just a good artist. Like, really good artist. I think the topology breakdowns are my favourite bit, because they're just so clean. There was one image that just blew my mind every time I saw it. This one, yeah. The grooming of the beard is really nice. Anyway, I'm going to stop fangirling over this guy's work. And get back to this horrible looking thing. So let's go to frequency, so that's like 3. But do I have taper on this? I do have taper. So I'm going to need to reduce the width. So what am I doing? I'm confusing myself right now. Oh yeah, I'm fixing the noise. I might actually get rid of this. Reset the slider. And then set that to 0 rather than -1. Don't know why that's the default, to be honest. I guess I want to replace that, don't I? Rand 0 to 0.5. And we're going to want to paint the width map. So do I do that now? I guess I should, right? Yeah, let's go into, so I'm going to paint density down, which I think I'll just do in one map because this one's going to be quite simple anyway. So let's just paint a value of 0.5. 0.5. And let's just paint that towards the edges. I guess this entire lower triangle will be part of that 0.5 radius, but still. Cool. Just paint along here. This is my density map at the moment. I'm going to paint out some of that neck area. And get you. You right, Becca?
Mm-hmm.
You right?
I'm just transferring it.
Ah, okay. Having some big size, I was like, oh no. Alright, and let's paint black just to get rid of that. I think there's a bit too much hair done there. There we go. Save textures. Save this texture. Cool, so that helps a bit, and then I need to paint a width map as well. So for the width, do I have a width expression set up? Width random mapped, there we go. Okay, so go into here. Let's rename this to fur head loose. Oh, one.
Pins and needles and tools.
Oh, really?
You know, like the tickly pins and needles as well.
The worst kind.
The worst kind. Like not even the fun kind.
I need to fill this with 1, so flip paint. And then I'm going to paint a value of 0.5. And then just go boop. Save that texture. Let's make sure it's yep. Save the texture and save that texture. So I'm gonna need some more guides and stuff here just to break up these two massive clumps. Maybe it's interesting on one side, but on two sides it's not good. Maybe half width isn't enough. Maybe I need to go down to a quarter width. So let me paint half width up to like here. Like there as well. And then let's paint 25% width. And just put that right at the edge. So I don't want to get much hair with this. Because 0.25 will barely show up in render, I think. Oh, that's the wrong map. There we go, that's better. The thing is, the progression image for this the progression image for this stream is going to look the exact same as the last one because I've been grooming on the back of the head. So that's mildly upsetting. But what was my width value on the overt groom? Head tied. The width is too thick, so 0.01. Loose. There we go, that's better. So let's get the sculpt tool. And he is too long, so let's bring that back. Which means the one on the other side is also too long. So which one was it? Is it that one? I'm going to lay this one flat to the neck. I'm going to twist it up on itself as well. I guess what we need here is more guides, right? Because that hair is just getting too much of the area. So let's do that, and let's do that. And we'll have to regenerate the clump maps. So, modifiers, no, not you, modifiers, generate, guide, cool, and then go to this one and resave our clump maps. There we go. Bit more asymmetrical now. So let's give that a test render. I'm also going to save a version of my scene. So let's show Peach Fuzz as well. So I'll get my dome light, set that to -90 rather than 137, and just do a quick test render from this angle. And I'm going to change to 2K render as well. And let's just do a preview render of that. I think another thing I might do, just for a little bit, I'm going to turn off the skin shading. Just replace it with a grey diffuse or something. Just to speed up these renders a little bit. Come on. So let's select the head, go all the way over to the material, and then I'm just going to turn, oh, I guess I need to disconnect the diffuse map in here. So let's get rid of that because we don't need it. Set you to full, And then let's just go into our subsurface and turn gain to 0. Cool. Now let's preview render. This will render a ton quicker now. The displacement will probably look really intense, but so I'm going to get another refill on my water while this renders. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll answer them when I get back. Back in 1 second, guys. Right. So I feel like something I'm going to need to do, because I just kind of winged it and it's not working, is the angle of this hair here doesn't make sense. Because it's hanging from here, it's dropping down to there, but the hair's flowing up and then back down. Which doesn't make sense, so the hair should drop down more. Which would reveal the hair that's been pulled into the braid. Which would make a lot more sense. So I'm going to do that. That would also help sell the idea of this being kind of spiraled in. This here isn't working yet either. It feels a bit too spider-like. So we do need a percentage of hairs that don't clump. That will help a lot on that. What else do we need? I need to fix these normals. It's the same in all of them, actually. No, it's toon shaded. Super strange. I'm gonna try rendering that from the front as well. And just let Maya think about what it wants to do. Right, so set that back to 137. Cool, and then go to my render camera. In fact, actually, I've got a viewport set up for that. Let's put that back to perspective. Render from this angle. Is the displacement broken? No, it is there. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're going to need to do a bit of work on this stuff. Although I think that'll be next stream. Don't really like these strays. They feel too messy. arches turned out relatively okay. Need to add a bit more volume here though, because it's quite a flat line at the moment. It'd be nice if it kind of went up to a peak and came back down, kind of like a little triangle. I love texturing XYZ. The maps look really, really nice. Right, so the difference between this and that render is going to feel so small. Like, there is a difference, but it is not much of one from this angle. Because everything I've done has been behind. Oh. Been behind. So let's give that a second to cancel. In fact, did I actually cancel it? Yeah, I did. Right, so what do we do now? I guess I should really clean this up. I just need to find a way for it to look good. To guess for it to look good, I'm going to need to pull these down more. Things like that don't make sense. So let's just go. Oh, I just hit G for render, didn't I? Ugh. Escape, 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 escape. As we all know, hitting it many times is a faster way of closing it. There we go. So, sculpt. Cool. And then... oh, I guess we're kind of getting some asymmetry for free because it won't let me brush both sides at the same time. Also, that middle one's way shorter, so I should shorten both of these. Like that. And then what we're going to need to do is pull each layer in. So it's lying flatter. Let's just do something like that. And then I'm going to have this one fight the flow a little bit. In fact, actually, that's just following a different flow rather than fighting it. Let's do that. And then you are the worst offender. Oh. Crash. I think it died. Yeah, there we go. So this one is the worst offender. So this one needs to be not only shorter, but obviously way, way flatter. Then you got these ones, which are arguably kind of worse. I'm gonna have one of these just do its own thing, like that. And then this guy needs to be pulled down. And then let's update the groom. I think I'm going to... I have to be braver. I'm going to delete this guide. And I'm going to flatten these, like actually flatten them. I just need to not be a pussy about it, basically. So let's pull that in. There should be some level of volume there, though. There we go. Pull that in. Same with you. And then I need to just make sure I'm not giving these too much volume. It's these ones. that stops this shape from working. This side works okay, but this one's too dominant now. So let's grab you, do that. And this is the side that needs some more guides, right? Let's just do a bunch of stuff like this. I really love how much you can get away with on this sort of guide work. For me, it's what makes it fun. And then we're going to need to go into modifiers, regenerate our clump maps. There we go. That feels a lot more natural. So now what we need to do is start painting maps for the clumps. So I assume that MD is going to release version 10 quite soon. I haven't expected... that's the thing. It's 490 USD plus tax, which was a lovely surprise. The tax is like $95 or something. For me, the payment worked out as £468, like British pounds. So, yeah, it's plus tax. Thanks, America. But yeah, so I ain't got any more guides up there, I think. But yeah, so let's go into our clump 1, and let's just paint a mask here. So create map. Paint white, sure, why not? This needs to be set to 20, and this needs to be called fur head loose. Fur head loose 01 C01 mask. Cool. So then paint this. Go into here. And then I only paint black and white, like pure black and white. So that's just cool. Just gotta do stuff like that. Save textures, save ptex. That's enough to get some variation in there. I kind of want it to be quite clumpy. Oh, let's break up these guys. So grab them, and I'm just going to rotate them out. That's enough to break the symmetry to some extent. So then I guess the next thing is go back to tide, and then these need to be pulled down. I have a feeling this is going to be messier than I want it to be, so let's just go with, so those three need to be pulled down. And then I'm going to need to rebuild these several times, I think. Rebuild, set that to 8. Of course, rebuild U to 8 as well. That'll feel at least a little bit more natural. It doesn't need to hang. It just needs to not float. Okay. Let's do something for a second here. Assign new material. Fix our surface. Why is that? What's the refreshing index set to? Oh. Why is it so dark? Is this how we show the groom in this in this progression image? Is this how we show it? Do we put a little mirror behind the head? And like, I swear I worked on it during this stream. It's not just some strays from the front angle that changed. I have done that before. I did present a groom using that. Not at work, obviously. Not professional enough for NPC. This needs to hang more. Why is that not going down? There's a guide that needs to be placed up here, isn't there? Apparently not. Up here? Yeah, there we go. So let's get that in, I guess. There, and then go to sculptable guides again. I need to do something pretty similar on the other side, so let's duplicate those two. It's quicker just to quickly fix. Actually, no, it's not going to be that much quicker. I was wrong. And then it was this one that needs drastically changing. looks a lot more natural now. Alright, so I need to rework the hairline as well. Let's go to braid root, which has been used quite a lot actually for a lot of different things. We also need to check the ref cam. Where does our header go to? Yeah, so our hairline ends too early. So let's just go in and paint a mask. And let's just bring that hairline forward a fair bit. Back, add you in, and save texture, and save texture. So render cam. So I need to get the braids right before I do this stuff. This doesn't feel right to me. That feels okay in terms of like where they're positioned back from the hairline, but other than that, nothing really feels right. Let's add a guide at the hairline. So this top groom is going to be an absolute nightmare for length consistency, in that there won't be any. Modifiers, clumping, guide. I need a guide right there. And you can pull into that one, I guess, would be ideal. And let's set this to normalize. I'm just going to keep normalizing it over and over again until we get the shape that we want. Conserve length really isn't important for this groom. to add. I'm going to paint a region map. Create map. I'm going to call this one for head braid root 01 region map. Cool. Then solid brush as always. Set you to, let's go with blue, why not? Make sure stroke pressure is turned off. And then let's just go like that for now. And what we'll end up having to do is have one region per braid pretty much. But for now I'll just paint it straight, as if it's just a center parting. We need to break this map up quite a lot as well, I think. Save textures. Save texture. Instantly better. So, modifiers, set up maps, use control maps. Control mask is set to 1. And I need to find the region maps of collections, FKA twigs, braid root, region map, that's the one. There we go. And then I need to regenerate this one again. Let's go regenerate just in case. There we go. And I think we're going to need to regen this at a higher level. Will it not let me? Okay, apparently not. You don't have a choice. I was worried about that parting being so wide. We can close it a little bit by having the hair travel backwards. So let's just do that. So I'll show you what I mean. We can close this just a tiny, tiny bit by doing that. Literally just doing that will be enough to help narrow it a little bit. Not a huge difference, but it'll be there. Oh, it's going to be painful though. I'm almost tempted to not use guide clumping at all and use a density like 3. And let's do this guy. G set to 6, let's go to 9. Although 6 did look pretty good, so maybe I need to just lower the first one. Yeah, let's go to the first one again. Let's set this to 2, generate. And regenerate this again, set you back to 6, generate. Wherever I can, I avoid guide clumping. Like if I want really finely controlled shapes, I'll use it like this stuff at the back. That's because I'm going specifically for flowy. I'm not necessarily trying to make something photoreal with this stuff back here. Like this would never be photoreal, that's just not how hair clumps. Still need to break up this guy. Why is he so large? Do I need a a guide there. Length. For that will do fine. I'm gonna also do this. Actually, I'll wait to do that. Let's just generate our clump maps first. Guide, save, and then resave you. There we go. So what I was gonna say is get all these guides and add some taper to them. 0.8 taper. I like how taper looks on guides. There has to be a way to convert the so there is no conversion there. How do you change a region map size? Or sharpness even? I know I can change this one to 2048. Then assign textures. Then I need to repaint that completely because anytime you upsample it gets a blur, and you want perfectly sharp textures with region maps. Any blur counts as a different region. Or any tone counts as a different region. See how we got like different values? So whereas with a solid brush you don't have different values, it's just it changes. Like it's like it detects it. I don't think XGen filters its region maps. Let's go to red. Save textures. And then resave that one. And then we're just going to need to go into modifiers and rebake these guys. And then resave this guy too. So that might help make it a bit sharper in future iterations. Why are these ones going that way? The size of that parting is going to give me so many troubles, I think. Well, it might be the clumping. Oh, sorry, the guide work even. Maybe I just need to put guides even closer. So like there. Okay, it's the guide work. So let's copy that guide shape. Paste guide shape. I guess we can just delete this guy now. And then add a guide there. Nope, he's on the wrong side. There. Well, actually, that means that one was super close anyway, so we don't need that. Does that help the sharpness? Yeah, kinda. Alright, so we just need more guides that are closer to the line. Is there a collision modifier? There is a collision modifier, but that's clearly not for the head, that's for something else, I assume. should do the density map on this stuff. Let's go to, let's start with loose. Let's set that to 0.5. And just go along here. I'm intentionally adding a little bit more space onto the edge of the mask, just because as I'm reducing density, it's naturally going to pull the hairline back, and I like where the hairline is. So I'm just going to do that. And that will just kind of tether the hairline rather than moving it back. Save textures, save texture. There you go. So that makes it feel a bit more spread out. So then let's go to for head tide and do the same thing with you. I'm going to use a bigger brush for this one. Save textures, save texture. That'll make it feel more feathered in, with basically no work, which is my favourite kind of work. Really struggling to kind of push myself to do much today. Not sure why. It's not project burnout, because I know what that feels like. It's not that. Not sure what it is. Could just be general motivation. Lockdown's going on for pretty long now. Oh, I guess we need to remove the immense amount of noise from these guys, right? Oh, wrong group. So there's no noise in there, weirdly. How about you? No noise in you either. Okay. Is it just you? Yeah, it is. Alright. So that one's a bit strong. Let's go down to 5 and then reduce the frequency down to 1. And then add a little bit more. I'm going to go to 100 correlation just to see how it looks. Do not like that. 50. There we go. Yeah, so I'm going to need to figure out how these split exactly. I mean, technically it would be just 50-50. Let's block out our region map for that. So I'm just going to increment my save by 1. And then let's go, we're going to need to clean up this hairline as well, it doesn't make much sense. But let's go into the region map. So let's go with green for this guy. I'm just going to draw a line straight through. And this needs to go roughly halfway between these two. And let's just pull that green up. Should thinking it would have made more sense to do green on the zone after this one, but I guess I could have still done that up until this moment, but still. So I need to do something similar on the other side. So let's go with yellow. And let's just pull this guy. And I can have repeating region map colours. It's just a case of making sure they're separated enough where the guides don't affect each other. So I've seen people do grooms like this as separate grooms, like each one of these would be separate, and to me that doesn't make much sense, to be honest. I feel that would be an overly painful way of doing it. Granted, I did an overly painful way of doing the knot back here earlier, so I can't really talk about that. You can call me a hypocrite, I guess. There we go. Get that. I'm just going to save this where it is right now. That is the wrong texture to save. There we go. Let's leave these colours intact and go to the next colour, which I guess can be, let's pick a nice colour. It has to be one of these ones though. I'm going to go with dark blue, and this needs to go halfway between these two. And does this go to hairline? I guess it should. Let's make sure I include those guides. There we go. Let's just go like, needs to go to the hairline, so let's just pull that all the way up there. Cool. Save that. Then let's go to pink, I guess. Like that. And then we need to do some more maps on this side. So let's go with green is right there, light blue is the one we're already using, red isn't too far away, so I guess pink is the best one for this guy. And we're just gonna get all this stuff. Get you, go all the way forward to about there, extend that forward, and then let's just put that halfway between each line. We'll be repainting this probably when we've blocked out the braid positions again. Cool. And then we just need, what will be best for this one? I guess yellow again? No, actually dark blue would be better. Just do that. Oh, that's the wrong colour. Let's get that dark blue again. Save textures. Save texture. I'm slowly going blind from how bright these colors are. There we go. And then we need to go into our modifiers and resave our clumps. So let's go. I just need to save it. There we go. And I just need to save this one too. And then once we have more guides, that will get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. We will need to paint a map to kind of turn off the effect in this area, to kind of have the hair flow back a bit more naturally. But that's the general setup ready for us to start painting. To start placing the braid stuff. That brings us to 10:30, so I'm going to kick off a render. I'm also going to do test render from. In fact, there's not really a good angle to do a test render. So let's save. So, you select the skin. There it is. Actually, I had to turn this to 0 and turn. Where is it? Subsurface. Turn that to 1. Go to this view. Put it back on 4K because that's idiotically the setting I saved this to. Although I am debating down-resing all of my images to 2K. Yeah, so this is going to be my end of stream render. I know it's ending a bit early. It's just a case of like kind of difficult to find motivation at this exact moment. So I don't just want to keep aimlessly wandering around while people are watching. It just seems a bit boring, really. Not because I'm making a fool of myself, because that's kind of my perpetual way of being. More just because it would be really uninteresting to watch. So I'm gonna leave this where it is. I need to work on the hairline quite a lot, but I think next stream we'll hopefully have the braids in their final place, and then I can start kind of adding all the hair that connects to the braids. Once I've got that working, let's compare this to the last one. Yeah, it looks like barely anything's changed in this progression render. I should bring the hairline forward. Because the hairline looks like it's way off. Especially on this side one. Yeah, I'll do that in the next stream or over the next few days. And then, because it's not difficult, it's just a case of painting the map forward and adding more guides. But yeah, so next stream will be on Tuesday, just because I want to go back to that kind of normal schedule. And then, yeah, so hopefully see you guys in the next stream. Hopefully this one hasn't been too boring, just because I've been kind of meandering a lot. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well, and see you guys in the next stream, I guess. Bye, guys.